Sunday, All-Star Sunday weekend. The field of potential 2020 Democratic challenger getting crowded by the day. Last week, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar officially entered the race for president. I think she did it in the middle of a blizzard. She joins 9 other people who are running as well. I'll begin with the Democrats here at the table. Who in that list that you see right there on your screen, Chaz, who is exciting you the most so far? I'm not asking for an official endorsement.
I got you. You knew that disclaimer was coming, didn't you?
I know. I thought I'd cut you off. Yeah. Who excites you the most?
Yeah. I think there are quite a few strong contenders. Kamala Harris is strong. Pete Buttigieg is strong. Yep. I think that Joe Biden is very much hanging over the field to see if he's going to jump in. So same thing for Beto O'Rourke. I think if you're making bets about who's going to win, you're going to lose money because it's so unpredictable. There's so many people that are jumping in and more to come.
They announced this week, I think NBC actually has the first debates come this summer, and they're having to do it over 2 nights. They're promoted as a 2-night special because they can't get them all in one night. I'll ask you as the other Democrat, who excites you most?
Well, I mean, you're asking the former chair of the county Democratic Party. So,
yes.
So I'll say this: they are all wonderful candidates. We're probably going to see a handful of more folks throw their hats in the ring.
You're not still party chair, man.
Yeah, right?
But they all have fantastic ideas. We're talking strengthening our healthcare system, strengthening Social Security, among other fantastic policies that I think the majority of Americans support.
Okay, but let me ask you this, and I want to get your opinion on this in just a second. But is now the time for another Joe Biden, or is it now the time for Peter Buttigieg, or even a Kamala Harris, somebody who's a rather newcomer to the scene?
I think that what you see is that the best thing that can happen for our party is for a strong group of candidates to go and battle it out. I think one of the things that people had concerns about in 2016 is that they really had a binary choice because Jim Webb wasn't really a choice for a lot of people, and Martin O'Malley wasn't really a choice. It was really Bernie or Hillary. I think people want more choices, and I think that these candidates will make each other better by having more competition.
I'll comment high level, and then I'll tell you who I think.
Yes.
So high level, what you're about to see is exactly what Republicans have been witnessing, okay? Especially with Trump. People always give me a hard time, like, and you're Republicans, and y'all elected Trump. I'm like, okay, keep in mind, yes, he's our party leader, but what you really saw is that there were so many candidates that Trump made it through all of the cracks, and Democrats haven't been through that in, like, what, the last 10 years, really? And so this is going to be interesting. To me, no single candidate out of that list wins against Trump, unless his name is Beto. Beto is the only one that has a chance to me. There's a lot of reasons why, but to me, Beto is the guy that should come out of that thing if they want a chance to win.
Trump might not for re-election, though.
I don't believe that.
He makes the point, though. I mean,
maybe in prison.
I mean,
that's not true at all. That's not true at all.
More on that in just a second. But he makes the point that the Republicans. I mean, he went through 17 Republicans, I believe, in the primary, and wiped them all clean. I mean, towards the end, it was not even close. Like him or not, he is a formidable person to run against. Are any of those Democrats, can they fill a room next to him?
Well, I think that if you look back over history in 1992, prime example, nobody thought that Bill Clinton would be the one to come out of a group of 9 or 7 or some large number. And he ended up being a 2-term president. It's early. It's really early. I mean, we're not even a year out from North Carolina's primary. So a lot can change. At this time in 2015, Obama had just announced I think on the 10th is when he announced. So you can't predict this early out.
And as you mentioned, whatever happens with the Russia investigation could have an impact on this for sure. Something that we've noticed this year, a big change the way candidates are talking about pot. California Senator Democratic candidate Kamala Harris, we just mentioned, tackling the question this week. Take a listen.
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay. Like
and I inhaled. I did inhale.
Remember the high?
I do.
So if it was legalized all throughout the country and medicinal, would you do it?
Listen,
again?
I think that it gives a lot of people joy, and we need more joy.
Okay, so we know at least Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren also in support of legalizing pot. And we should say, actually, this issue also being looked at locally. This past week, a bill was filed that would scale back the punishment for marijuana possession. Currently in North Carolina, possession of ½ an ounce of marijuana is a Class 1 misdemeanor. The bill increases that misdemeanor to 3 ounces instead. It's currently a felony to be caught with 1½ ounces as well. This bill increases that felony amount to 16 ounces. Is this a foregone conclusion? This is finally, they're just going to become legal at some point. I mean, when you think back to, you talked about the 1992 race and Bill Clinton, I didn't inhale, and now you have a woman saying, I inhaled and it was fun, and people get a lot of joy, I think was her exact phrase from it. It's a big change.
Yeah, I think Obama, when he was running the first time around, said that was the point. Inhaling was the point. And I think that we are changing as a country on this issue. I do think that the patchwork of different states legalizing and not legalizing is going to get to a point where it's unsustainable because, you know, and I do think it disproportionately hits people who are lower income, people of color, and that concern is something that we have to address. So I think we need to put people in Congress who are going to be brave on this issue and make a choice one way or the other to fix this problem.
It's becoming more and more tempting, I think, for some of these states to watch states like Colorado make all this money and not being able to tax it here. All right, more Flashpoint after this.